Hey everybody, welcome back to TechOdyssey. So I'm back with a final look and my thoughts on the LG V60. It's been a really good phone. I've been using it on and off for about the last 2 months since I got it, did a full review, all that jazz, and I like it. I think that it brings a lot to the table, especially for the $799 MSRP, and the price has even dropped some since then. Before I get into this though, I do want to say, if this is your first time stopping by the channel, I appreciate you being here. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell so you can get updates on the latest videos. Now let's talk about the V60. All right, so here we are with the V60. The V60 has been a little bit of a polarizing device for a lot of people because it is, I believe, a flagship phone, but at the same time, they made a couple design choices that kind of put it a rung or two below some of the top tier premium flagship phones that are out there. So for one, it only has a 1080p resolution on the screen. So 1080p, not Quad HD+. Also, it only has a fingerprint sensor built into the screen. It doesn't have facial recognition. A very curious decision because, of course, it does have the camera there, and a lot of Android phones just do the simple facial recognition. So in addition to that, they also omitted the third camera on the back. And the V series phones have always been kind of more of the cutting edge when it comes to LG's, flagship devices. They like to implement and put all the big, bold things in it. So I was really surprised that there's no telephoto lens. Now, it does have a 64 megapixel primary shooter, which takes really, really good pictures. It's even got the wide angle camera as well. So I'm glad that they left the wide angle lens in there instead of a telephoto like the Pixel did, but at the same time, there's plenty of room back there. I don't know why they didn't include it. Well, it's got wireless charging, 8 gigabytes of RAM. It's got the latest and greatest Snapdragon 865 in it. It's got a beautiful 6.5-inch AMOLED display, which just looks fantastic. Running Android 10. It's got a lot of good things going for it, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And as you can see here, of course, it also has the dual screen, which you can get. And I like that they make that an option and not a requirement. Like, you can get it, but it's not always stuck on here because honestly, about 80% of the time, I kind of prefer just to use the V60 by itself. And maybe I'm in the silent majority here, but as much as I like this, it's very big, it's very cumbersome, and it has its place. I mean, it really does. There are a lot of times when I like to use this, but just on a day-to-day basis, it's not my favorite way to use the phone. I kind of like to carry it around and use it by myself or by itself. And they did this very curious thing on the bottom. So this allows you to charge the phone. It uses a special adapter. It's a mag lock. You see little pins down there, and it's magnetic. It works pretty well, but you got to keep up with it. Otherwise, you have to take the phone out of the dual screen attachment so that you can charge it. Now, the phone itself came in a blue color and it came in this white color, and I thought that this was really beautiful. They did a good job with the design on it. It looks nice. You've got the built-in Google Assistant button over here on the left. You see the cameras clearly across the back. It's a sharp-looking phone. I kind of would have liked to seen the blue, and I didn't get that one, but the optical fingerprint sensor works out really well. Android 10, I like that they didn't skin the heck out of it and make it almost unusable. It's nice and it works well. Now, they only have a 60 hertz refresh rate, but that's fine. It's a consistent 60 hertz refresh rate all across the board. It works out really well. It never really slows down. It doesn't really shudder. It's just a nice experience. Now, one thing that I really wish that they would work on is the security patch update. So here we are in the first week, going into the second week of June, and this still has the April 1st security update. That, I mean, to me, is for a big player like LG, I expect a little bit better. So hopefully they'll have a new one coming up soon, but as of right now, it's not there. You've got the front-facing selfie camera here, which, I mean, you can, of course, go in and you can mess with the bezels. So you don't really see it on mine because I don't have it set up where it shows, the notch. But if you did, then you could clearly see it much better. Overall, it's been a really good phone. Performance-wise, I mean, it's got a 5,000 milliamp battery. If you don't use the dual screen, the battery on this thing is crazy good. And even with the dual screen, it's still pretty good. So you just pop it in here, slide it in, lock the top into place, and then the second screen will come on. So sometimes you'd have to close it up and turn it back on to reactivate it. There we go. So we've got the second screen on here. And one thing that's cool about the second screen, you can select an app to have it load up whenever you open up the screen. It's kind of cool, but at the same time, I don't always want it there. I wish maybe it would kind of ask me first, but it doesn't. I have mine set to Twitter because I use Twitter all the time. So it's really nice. Close it, you open it up, and ta-da, Twitter. So kind of cool. You can use the built-in browser on here to stretch it across the screen. You can use the dual screen for a lot of things like YouTube, playing some games. One cool thing is when you play games, you can turn it this way and you can have the controls down on the bottom and you can have the game showing up on the top. It's really cool for like Fortnite, PUBG, Call of Duty, and things like that. Now, you have the second screen here, which of course you can have always on display and you get your information. So it shows you notifications, the time, all that good stuff. It's very limited. It's not functional in any way. It's really just for display purposes. But I kind of like that because it doesn't drain too much of the battery. And it's kind of annoying to use this way, but and you kind of get used to it, I guess. You can't make phone calls unless you use Google Assistant this way. So that's kind of, it's a nice novelty and it's a nice accessory, but by and large, I think most people are going to be happier just having the normal phone. But if you have the option to pay $100 to get this, then I totally think that it's worth the extra $100. Now, I'm not doing a full review on this because I've already done a full review on this phone. I just wanted to come back, touch base on it, see how it's holding up 2 months later. And I still think it's a really good phone. Now, it was MSRP $799 for the V60 whenever it came out. And if you were with T-Mobile or AT&T, it was $899 to get the dual screen. If you wanted to get it with Verizon, it was $949 or it was $899 because they have that millimeter wave technology for the better gigabit speed 5G. But really good phone, and they even have it for $699 like over at T-Mobile in a lot of places now where you can get just the phone by itself. So if you want a really good phone that will do everything that you need it to, that takes excellent pictures. It has really, really nice pictures, natural tone, good sharpness. It's not oversaturated like the Samsungs are. It's not overly warm and yellowy looking like the iPhone is. This is kind of like the perfect balance that falls in the middle. Plus, 5,000 milliamp battery, Google Assistant button, lightly skinned, nice user interface. I think LG did a lot of good things here, especially whenever you look at the S20. The Android competition for this phone in the US is basically the S20 series phones and the iPhone, and then maybe the OnePlus 8 Pro now. So the OnePlus 8 Pro, you're looking at $999 or $899. You look at the S20, you're looking at $999 to $1399. You look at the iPhone 11 Pro series phone, you're talking $999 to $1099. So to be able to get something like this for $799, or now in some cases $699, one heck of a deal. I mean, this 6.8-inch OLED screen, it looks great. It takes great pictures. It's perfect for everything you need it for. It just doesn't have some of the accentuated nuances like no 90 hertz or 120 hertz display. It doesn't have facial recognition, which that's the biggest thing I ding this phone for, is the lack of facial recognition. If it had that, I think I would take it more seriously. But I already enjoy this phone as a whole, so it's not really too big of a hang-up for me, especially at the price point. I mean, you're getting 5G. This is a really good introductory offering for a 5G phone. $699, $799, solid cameras, great experience, all-day battery. It looks sharp. I mean, that's it. I mean, that's the selling point. It's a good phone at a good price. It's not overpriced. I don't think that a Quad HD screen is all that necessary, because it looks perfectly good on 1080p. I have no problems with it, and I am a super tech nerd geek guy who really dives into the specs. But what I can tell you is for value-based function, performance, and what it brings to the table, anyone who buys this phone is going to be happy. And it has a headphone jack. So for people that love the headphone jack, it's not just a headphone jack. It has the Quad DAC 32-bit audio experience, which is basically high-fidelity sound in a phone. So Best sound experience out of a flagship phone that you're going to get. It's also got the headphone jack and wireless charging, everything you could possibly want, except for some of the stuff that you probably won't even notice. So I think that it's still solid. I still recommend it. This is probably still the phone that I would recommend for most people in the Android world in the year 2020. So that's all I have in my second look, 2-month follow-up with the LG V60. Solid phone. I think that LG did a lot of things right here. They're kind of experimenting a little bit, trying to see where they fit in the market, because no one is going to pay $1,000 for an LG phone. But at $699 to $799, especially looking at the competition, it's a really attractive offering. So that's all I've got. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down in the comment section. I'll get back with you. Like I said in the beginning, if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell so you can get updates on the latest videos. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.